With so many celebrity engagements happening lately, people are digging up past Hollywood relationships that didn't quite go as planned. From whirlwind romances to catastrophic divorces, let's take a hilarious and dramatic look at some of the most chaotic celebrity marriages that ended in flames. Elizabeth Moss and Fred Armisen, the short, not-so-sweet union. Elizabeth Moss, best known for her role in Mad Men, once called her only marriage traumatic. And no, she wasn't talking about an episode of The Handmaid's Tale. Her ex-husband, Fred Armisen, the Saturday Night Live alum and Wednesday actor, was apparently so good at impersonations that his greatest role was pretending to be a normal person. Ouch. Even more interesting, Fred himself admitted in interviews that he was a terrible husband, saying he had a habit of diving into relationships without thinking and quickly getting bored. That sounds less like a marriage and more like a Netflix trial subscription. Moss was so done with him that when asked if they still talked, she responded with an immediate "oh God, no." Considering she has played some of the strongest female leads on TV, it's no surprise she didn't want to keep that storyline going. Their wedding was low profile, but their marriage was even lower. It barely lasted long enough to require a change of address. The two tied the knot in 2009, and by 2011, their divorce was finalized. Moss has described it as awful and horrible, which are the words usually reserved for a bad haircut, not a lifelong commitment. Meanwhile, Armisen admitted on WTF with Mark Maron that he was starstruck by Moss and got caught up in the excitement. The only thing more dramatic than their divorce. Moss' descriptions of it. As for Moss, she seems to have moved on completely, focusing on her successful acting career, while Armisen remains a beloved comedic figure. In the end, their relationship proved that even talented actors can't fake a happy marriage forever. Madonna and Sean Penn. A marriage written in the sand, literally. Madonna and Sean Penn's relationship started like a fairy tale, but ended more like a horror movie. The pair met on a music video set, and after a whirlwind romance, got married on Madonna's 27th birthday in 1985. The wedding was anything but intimate. Paparazzi helicopters hovered overhead, making it impossible to hear the vows. While Madonna was likely amused, Penn was not having it. According to her brother, this was the first glimpse of Penn's fiery temper. He reportedly carved expletives into the sand for the helicopters to read, which, while creative, probably wasn't the best way to start a marriage. 2 years later, Madonna filed for divorce, citing cumulative pressures, which sounds like a polite way of saying he's exhausting. The relationship had its fair share of turmoil, including some very dark allegations. Years later, Penn denied any wrongdoing, and Madonna publicly defended him. Regardless, their marriage was anything but a holiday. Penn's reputation as a bad boy actor with an explosive temper was further cemented when he continued to have run-ins with the law. He has since admitted that his youthful anger often got the best of him. Madonna, on the other hand, continued her reign as the queen of pop, proving that sometimes shedding a toxic relationship is the best career move. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, the sequel nobody wanted. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez were Hollywood's couple in the early 2000s, but their first engagement ended before they could say "I do." Then 2 decades later, they shocked the world by rekindling their romance, getting married, and getting divorced again. Their original breakup in 2004 was largely blamed on intense media scrutiny, but when they reunited in 2021, they seemed determined to make it work. However, history repeated itself, proving that some sequels just don't live up to the hype. Affleck had strong feelings about keeping their relationship private, while Lopez apparently thought privacy was just a myth. Case in point, she used his love letters as inspiration for her album and shared them with songwriters. Yikes. Affleck was understandably miffed and made it clear that he valued personal moments as sacred. A source later claimed that Affleck wished he could divorce on grounds of temporary insanity, which, honestly, sounds like a valid legal argument. While Lopez is known for wearing her heart on her sleeve and in her music, Affleck has always been more reserved. This difference in personality proved to be a major strain on their marriage, and while they remain cordial in public, It's clear that Bennifer 2.0 was a short-lived reboot that didn't need to happen. Britney Spears and Jason Alexander, 55 hours of what was I thinking? Britney Spears' brief marriage to childhood friend Jason Alexander lasted 55 hours, which is shorter than some flights to Australia. She walked down the aisle in jeans and a baseball cap, clear signs that this wedding was more Vegas impulse than forever love. According to reports, the two were partying when they spontaneously decided to get hitched. Now, we'd all make bad decisions under the influence, but most of us don't end up legally married because of it. Britney later admitted she wasn't thinking clearly and that it was an act of rebellion rather than romance. Her team rushed to get the marriage annulled, but that wasn't the end of Jason's obsession. Years later, in 2022, he crashed Britney's wedding to Sam Asghari, claiming she was still his wife. Security had to physically remove him, and he was later arrested. Let's just say that nobody invited him to the after-party. Despite the legal drama, Britney has since found happiness in her new marriage, though she continues to battle public scrutiny over her personal life. As for Jason, he's earned himself a spot in the most unhinged exes of all time Hall of Fame. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, a reality show that turned dark. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West were the ultimate power couple until they weren't. Their marriage started strong, but things took a turn in 2020 when Kanye started tweeting about divorcing Kim and accusing her family of trying to lock him up. Kim officially filed for divorce in 2021, and things escalated when she started dating Pete Davidson. Kanye responded by bullying Pete online, writing diss tracks about him, and going on bizarre rants. He even claimed the Kardashians had kidnapped their daughter for her birthday. The drama cooled off only after Kanye remarried a Kim lookalike. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, Kenny took it very seriously. Sandra Bullock and Jesse James, the cheater of the century. Sandra Bullock won an Oscar in 2010, and within weeks, news broke that her husband, Jesse James, was a serial cheater. Not just a one-time mistake kind of cheater, this man had a hobby. Bullock had met James on the set of Monster Garage, and their marriage seemed strong until several women came forward with receipts. James later admitted to cheating, but claimed that the paparazzi were part of the problem. Sure, Jesse. Sandra wisely divorced him and never won another Oscar again. Some say it was karma for ignoring red flags. But at least she dodged that disaster before it got worse. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, Scientology versus family. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes' relationship seemed like a mission impossible from the start. Fairy tale wedding and a daughter, Suri, but to Scientology. Holmes was reportedly terrified that he would have. They had a affair. 6 years later, Holmes filed free. Apparently, the church's no non-believers rule applies even to family members. Oof. Holmes filed for divorce. The biggest issue: abduct their daughter into the faith. Cruise later admitted that Creek Sweetheart became a Scientology student overnight. Holmes, once a Dawson Scientology, was indeed a factor in the divorce. And since then, he has had little contact with Suri. Tom's unwavering dedication. Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries, 72 days of regret. Kim Kardashian's 72-day marriage to NBA player Kris Humphries made headlines worldwide. The couple had a lavish wedding special on E! But Kim later admitted she knew it was a mistake before the honeymoon was even over. Humphries claimed he was blindsided and even filed for an annulment, accusing Kim of marrying him for TV ratings. Their divorce dragged on until 2013, but at least Humphries had the decency to keep his distance afterward. Unlike some exes, Kanye, he actually let Kim live her life. Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland, the runaway bride. Literally, Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland's wedding was set for June 1991, but instead of walking down the aisle, Roberts ran away. And not just anywhere, she fled to Dublin with Kiefer's best friend, Jason Patrick. Kiefer later admitted they were young and in love, but things got complicated. That's putting it lightly. Imagine your fiancé ditching you on the wedding day for your best friend. That's a therapy bill no one wants. Pamela Anderson and Dan Hayhurst, the lockdown love that didn't last. Pamela Anderson married Dan Hayhurst during the pandemic, after falling for one of the contractors renovating her home. The romance ballooned in lockdown, but once life returned to normal, so did Pamela's common sense. She later admitted she had romanticized the relationship and realized she was essentially funding everything. In hindsight, she called the marriage stupid, but hey, at least she got a house out of it. That's a wrap on today's dive into Hollywood's most chaotic love stories. If you enjoyed this roller coaster of drama, heartbreak, and questionable life choices, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Drop a comment below and let us know which celebrity couple you think will crash and burn next. See you in the next one. Stay fabulous and drama-free.